deep beneath the ocean's surface lies one of nature's most terrifying hunters. Meet the bobbit worm, an underwater assassin straight out of your nightmares. At first glance, you might not even see it. The bobbit worm, also known as Eunice aphroditoides, hides under the sand, waiting with unnerving patience. It's armed with razor-sharp jaws and a lightning-fast reflex that can snap prey in an instant. Using its antennae, it senses vibrations in the water. When an unsuspecting fish or crab gets too close, boom! It strikes with such speed and force, it can split its prey in half. That's right, this worm isn't just fast, it's lethal. Once it captures its meal, the bobbit worm drags it into its sandy lair, where the real horror begins. This predator is known to devour its prey alive. And guess what? Bobbit worms can grow up to 10 feet long. Imagine stumbling across that during a dive. But don't worry, they're mostly found in tropical waters like the Indo-Pacific region, so not every beach is a bobbit worm hotspot. Despite its terrifying nature, the bobbit worm is also bizarrely beautiful. Its body shimmers with rainbow-like colors, making it one of the most fascinating yet feared creatures in the ocean. So, next time you're exploring the ocean, keep an eye on the sand. You never know what might be lurking beneath.
The bobbit worm is a member of the family of marine polychaetes known as Eunicidae. As it is a polychaete, that means it's a type of bristleworm, and therefore related to a whole host of other, and its more common name, the bobbit. The bobbit worm's incredible cutting mandibles, able to cut its prey clean in half. However, it's not fully confirmed this is where the name comes from, though it would make sense. Typically, they are found in the shallows and coral reefs of the Atlantic and Indo-Pacific. Bobbit worms require sand to burrow in, and so they live in the benthic level of the ocean. They've also been known to live in and around dead coral. They don't want to be too deep down, away from all the prey, so they stay in the neritic zone of the ocean. The maximum depth they've been to spot them deeper down. Shockingly, these worms can grow to lengths anywhere between a mere 10 centimeters to a scary 3 meters in length. Can you imagine 3 whole meters of this thing? The strange thing is, as they grow longer, they don't get much thicker, and so stay this strange, long, thin worm. The scarier thing is that the only thing that regulates their growth is food availability, and so they could grow even longer, but we just haven't found one topping 3 meters yet. That also means that their burrows can get very long as well. The reason they burrow is crucially linked to their claws. They are ambush hunters, and so spend all their times in their burrows with just their antennae sticking out. When they are brushed against, they will strike out with their massive long bodies, reminiscent of the Exegorth from Star Wars, the big worm thing that hand lands the Millennium Falcon inside of on the asteroid in Empire Strikes Back. Their mandibles are incredibly strong and fold out of its head to slash at the prey. Small fish may find themselves instantly cut in half, however the bobbit worm is all too eager to attack things that seem way too large for it. Not a lot is known of the bobbit worm, but it's thought that they might possess some form of venom or toxin in its sharp mandibles that immobilizes its prey, as it has been seen to attack fish far too thick for its thin body and far too large to be properly cut in half. So they must stun larger prey with a quick cut to the body so long. There comes a point when surely their size becomes a disadvantage, especially considering only about 6 inches of the worm ever comes out of their burrow when they attack their prey. That's why it's thought that perhaps they don't stop growing as long as they have enough food. Bobbit worms can be a big nuisance to owners of fish tanks or aquariums who import coral and rocks from the sea. As bobbit worms have sometimes been known to live in dead coral instead of in burrows, if imported coral is not properly checked, you might just be adding an unwanted predator to your lovely little fish tank. Newquay Zoo in Cornwall, England fell for this trap. At first they didn't quite know why certain fish in their aquarium exhibit were injured and why coral had been burrowed into and destroyed. That was until they found Barry, a 4-foot long worm that presumably had been added to the exhibit by stowing away in an imported rock or coral. The most terrifying bit is about how staff set traps to try and catch Barry, but Barry ate through them. The traps were pieces of bait with fish hooks tied to a fishing line, but Barry straight up ate the hooks and bit through the fishing line like it was nothing. Barry, in my opinion, was an absolute legend. To eventually get Barry out, they had to dismantle the entire exhibit rock by rock. However, I'm not entirely sure if Barry was a true bobbit worm. I found some conflicting sources, some saying he was a bobbit worm, some saying he was a different member of the genus Eunice. The problem with the name bobbit worm is that it is sometimes used as a blanket term for other similar looking worms, when it should actually only refer to Eunice aphroditois. In any case, the outcome would be the same either way, as even if it wasn't a true bobbit worm, it displayed the same behaviour and looks very similar. So take this as a warning to check your aquariums properly. Thank you for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it and learned something new. If you'd like
This has been a Cincinnati production. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, links are in the description.